Good evening, everybody. Teching 101 here. How's everybody's night going? Everyone having a good time? Everyone just taking it easy? I hope you are. I hope everything is well with you. Make yourself a cup of tea. Get comfortable. Make yourself a nice warm beverage, perhaps hot chocolate. In fact, you can actually pause this video here, go take a blanket, and maybe throw it in the dryer for like 5 minutes and get it nice and warm and cozy and just kind of like, ooh, this is nice. This is nice. I don't have tea. I have milk in a red Solo cup though for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, that's some good calcium right there. Anyway, who is ready for a random Naruto discussion video? I did one of these last year. It seems like every year on the channel I have one Naruto video. I get in the mood to discuss Naruto. Last year I made a video on Kimimaro and Kaguya, and that was really fun. So earlier today I did a One Piece video, as I am wont to do. And I had to get my little notebook out here and like write a bunch of notes for the video because it was kind of extensive. I had to keep track of a bunch of characters. And when I was going through my notepad here, I saw this. This is a Naruto rant rough copy. This is a video I was gonna film like a couple months ago that I just kind of forgot about because I had all of these like questions about the Naruto series that have been like boiling up in my head for the last like, I don't know, 15 years or whatever. And I was just like, I am going to go full rant on this. I am going to just, sit down and just like, Kishimoto, I want answers, like this is a retcon. This is a retcon, right? And I was going to make a video and I made a whole list of questions. And then I just kind of forgot about it, I guess. And now all of that like fire that was in me that I was going to go full rant mode has kind of gone because it's been so long. So we're going to approach this from a more civil perspective today, which I think is better. I think it's better for me just to sit down and have a calm ASMR discussion with you than a raging fire of passion kind of like, this makes no sense, So I am just going to read to you these questions that I wrote down because I am genuinely curious. I want to know if it's something in the case of like Kishimoto had no plans for this early on and he had to retcon it like later to make it make sense. If that's the situation, that's fine. Okay, I'm not saying every author has to know exactly how their story's going to go. Like Kishimoto had everything planned out, 500 chapters ahead of time. It's fine if he didn't, okay? But I also understand that I don't know a lot about Naruto, like the wider expanded universe. I've read the manga a couple of times. I have not seen every episode of the anime because there's a lot of filler in the anime. I have not read Boruto past like the first couple of chapters. I haven't seen the anime at all. I know there's expanded universe novels, like the light novels. I see those all the time at like Barnes. I see like, the Sasuke light novel, the Shikamaru light novel. So to people in my audience that are big Naruto fans and have read and watched every part of this series and have, seen the whole Boruto anime and know what's going on in the manga and everything like that. By the way, spoilers, just because like, I don't know anything about Boruto like at the moment other than just like generally what's going on right now, but spoilers just in case in the comments especially, right? So maybe this stuff is explained in some other part of the Naruto expanded universe or whatever, and I'm just not privy to that. So if it is, please let me know because I would like to know. I would like to know the answers to some of these questions, okay? Most of these are all going to cover like the beginning of Naruto, like the origin of Naruto's character when he was set up and as he is at the beginning of the manga, like in chapter 1 when he's about to graduate the academy and he learns the shadow clone jutsu and he finds out that he's the Nine Tails. Like that's mainly what these questions are about, okay? The first one is, who raised Naruto when he was a baby? This is something I need to know. This is confusing as hell to me because Minato is dead. Kushina is dead. As soon as Naruto is born, they pretty much die. Okay. Minato dies sealing the fox inside of him using the Reaper Death Seal. Kushina dies as the, Nine Tails leaves her. She stops being the Jinchuriki. Naruto's the new Jinchuriki. Naruto's parents are dead. Okay. From the beginning of Naruto in chapter 1, he's like 12 years old, maybe 13. He's about to graduate and become a genin, and he's living on his own in that apartment, which is the next question, actually. We're going to get to that. But we see flashbacks of Naruto, like, when he's, like, in the academy, like, in elementary school, when he's, like, I don't know, 6, 7 years old, and he's still living on his own. Like, he's like this 7-year-old kid that's like, all right, guys, I'm going to go back home to my empty apartment that I live in by myself. And it really makes me question, like, okay, well, he clearly couldn't have been taking care of himself when he was a baby, when he was 1. So who raised baby Naruto? And more importantly, why did not the person raising baby Naruto just raise him when he was like a child? You know, like, this is the next question. When did Naruto start living on his own? Was he 5? Was he 4? Like, when did this happen, right? Maybe it's a thing where maybe there was like an old lady in the village or something that's like, I'll take care of baby Naruto, and then she died at some point, and then Naruto's like 5 and nobody else wanted to look after him, so okay, kid, here's an apartment. And I know it's explained that, like, the Hokage gives him an allowance and, like, pays for the apartment, I guess. But it's still, like, you're letting a 5-year-old live on his own. Or I actually don't know. I don't know how young he was when he started living on his own. Because sometimes it seems to be like he's really, like an elementary school student, like a kindergartner living on his own. And it brings up so many questions, because we later find out that the tailed beasts are basically the nuclear weapons of the Naruto universe. Like, each village has a certain number of, like, tailed beasts to, like, balance power, like a nuclear deterrent. And you'd think you would want to keep, like, the Nine Tails under, like, lock and key. Like, maybe not lock and key. Well, I guess you would. You want to keep tabs on the Nine Tails, right? And you letting a 5-year-old live on his own, like, Naruto doesn't probably even know how to use the stove. You know, he could fall down and, like, die, I guess. I mean, I guess he couldn't, because he's the Nine Tails. He could heal and stuff. But still, even though the kid has magical powers and can heal from almost any injury super fast, letting him live on his own at a young age, probably not a smart move, you know? It really does feel to me that, like, Kishimoto is trying too hard to make Naruto a sympathetic character. Like, he's like, ooh, I gotta make the main character of my manga really sad and really sympathetic to the audience. Like, he was living on his own at age 5. He didn't have anybody caring for him. His parents were gone. Nobody loved him. It's like, okay, I mean, like, yeah, that is sympathetic, but it also kind of loops around to the point of absurdity, right? It's kind of like a Doofenshmirtz backstory, you know? It was like, my parents weren't even there for my own birth, you know? It's funny as a joke, but, like, as a serious backstory for a character, it is kind of goofy, you know? Like, yeah, this kid's like, oh, well, this baby, anybody want this baby? No? Okay, just throw him in the apartment. So, if that was ever explained somewhere, please let me know. And when he started living there, Naruto just didn't know the names or faces of his parents, right? Like, that was never a thing that he never like nobody ever came up to him and told him, your dad is Minato Namikaze and your mother is Kushina Uzumaki. That never happened, right? I understand that, like, there was you could just say, oh, well, the Hokage said not to talk about that to Naruto. Like, it's a crime if anybody talks to Naruto about being the Nine Tails. But was it also a crime to talk about his parents? Like, that's weird, because, like, Minato and Kushina were, like, famous. Like, everybody in the village knew them. Minato was the Hokage. He was, like, the ninja president of, you know, the Hidden Leaf Village. His face is literally etched into a mountain. He should be one of the most, like, documented people in the entire village, right? So, like, there would be, like, newspapers and magazines and stuff, because they have that stuff in the Naruto world. They even have television and radio, right? Like, that stuff all exists in the Naruto world, right? I know it's more built up in Boruto, like, they went through an industrial revolution, but they still had all that stuff in the original Naruto. So, like, this would be like if Naruto's dad was basically the president, and his mom was the first lady, and he just didn't know. It doesn't make any sense. Naruto's last name is Uzumaki, which is Kushina's last name. So, I understand Naruto's not super smart. He's not going to like read books and stuff, but like he never ran across anything that says this is Minato Namikaze pictured next to his wife Kushina of the Uzumaki clan. That never connected the dots there. I mean, Naruto really should have picked up on the fact that like Minato looks exactly like him. But I mean, like even going over that, I mean like Kushina and Minato should have been in lots of pictures in the paper. Like, did the Hokage just like destroy everything? Like every piece of evidence that Minato and Kushina were around, he just destroyed all of it, right? So like Kushina's name was just stricken from the record. Naruto, there's no way Naruto could have learned the name of his parents or whatever. Also, the whole idea that the village just wasn't supposed to talk to Naruto about it, that's only going to get you so far. You mean to tell me that Naruto, in like the 13 years he's been living in this village, not a single time has there been some drunk guy been like, hey, you're the son of the fourth Hokage, you know, like, I mean, somebody at some point, even under punishment of like the Anbu, even under like, hey, if you tell Naruto about his parents, if you commit the cardinal sin of telling Naruto who his mom and dad are, you're gonna go to prison. You know, you're gonna go to ninja prison, which is even worse than regular prison. Somebody would have spilled the beans at some point. Somebody would have. All right, it's a pretty heavily populated village. Somebody would have said it at some point. All right, so I find that a little silly, unless like the Hokage and the Anbu just, and Danzo, I guess, just purge all the physical evidence of Minato and Kushina's existence. The simple explanation for this, I guess, is maybe Kishimoto didn't plan out everything with Kushina and everything early on in Naruto. Maybe like that wasn't until a little later. I don't know. But I find it kind of ridiculous that Naruto never learned about, like, oh, he never connected the dots or nobody ever told him. I feel like even like Iruka. Iruka would know. That's the thing. Everybody in the village would know. Everybody in the village would know Minato and Kushina had a baby because Kushina was pregnant. That was public knowledge. You know, it was 9 months of pregnancy and she's married to the Hokage. Everybody would know. And then as soon as they die, a kid shows up that has blonde hair. Everybody would know that Naruto is Minato and Kushina's son, right? Iruka would know. You mean to tell me not a single time did Iruka, as like Naruto's big brother, ever sat him down and been like, okay, Naruto, look, I know I'm not supposed to tell you this, but you have the right to know who your fucking parents are. All right, your dad is Minato Namikaze, your mother's Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto never asked Iruka, hey, Iruka, who are my parents? And Iruka's like, I can't tell him. I understand he could be threatened, he could be punished, he could be killed. I mean, but like Iruka really cared about Naruto, so I feel like he would have like, okay, look, you can't tell anybody this, but these are your parents. Like you should know that, right? Okay. Anyway, there's that. Okay, going along with that with Iruka, how come no one adopted Naruto growing up? Because once again, it seems to present the idea that Naruto was like unloved by everybody in the village, like everybody hated him. But that clearly isn't the case. We just mentioned Iruka. Naruto looked up to Iruka like his big brother. Iruka treated him like a little brother. And that was genuine, too. That wasn't like, you know, oh, I was just told to do that by the village. No, Iruka really did care for Naruto. So, like, how come Iruka didn't just, hey, Naruto, you're living on your own. That's like, you're like 7. Like, come and live with me in my little apartment. It's not much, but hey, at least, you know, you have company and you have an adult that can actually, like, cook food for you and shit, you know? So why didn't Iruka adopt Naruto? Why didn't the ramen guy adopt Naruto? The ramen guy, Teuchi, who was, like, one of the only people in the village that genuinely, like, treated Naruto like a normal human being. Like, Teuchi, every day, Naruto's coming to his place and eating there. He's this kid, Teuchi living in the village. He would know, like, yeah, this is the 4th Hokage's kid that the entire village has ostracized for the reason of having a Ninetales inside of him, but he's just a kid. He's just a kid that just wants to eat ramen. Why didn't Teuchi just adopt him, right? And actually, Teuchi had a daughter, Ayame, who was, like, the same age as Naruto, so there, Naruto could have had, like, a sister growing up, like, a family. And that's the problem right there. I think that's the issue, is that no, Kishimoto wanted to make this like a super, super sad backstory, like one of the saddest backstories you can imagine. And you can't very well have a sad backstory if Naruto's living a happy life with his adoptive family, with like a sister and a dad. So you can't have that. So it's like, even to the point of ridiculousness, even to the point of absurdity, you have to make it so, yeah, nobody in the village wanted to adopt him. I'm like, all right. Oh yeah, even Hiruzen. Why didn't the third Hokage? The third Hokage lives in a giant-ass mansion. Why, why couldn't he do that? I don't know. So there's a point that gets brought up earlier on where why did they not tell Naruto that his dad was Minato, right? And there's two reasons for this. There's two explanations that are given for this. Number one is they didn't want Naruto to grow up arrogant, because they think, oh, if you knew that your dad was the fourth Hokage, you grow up pompous and arrogant. And the second one is, well, I think even Minato explains this to Naruto when he's in his psyche, when they, like, the fight with Pain. Minato says, like, oh, I guess the third didn't tell you. Well, I did have a lot of enemies, so I guess he was trying to protect you against my enemies, so they didn't know I had a son. Like, okay. So the first problem is, regardless of, like, think about this logic. Hey, if we tell Naruto his dad was this awesome ninja, he might be a little arrogant. So the solution is just don't tell the child about his parents at all, because we don't want him to grow up pompous. That's the most bullshit excuse ever. He deserves to know who his damn parents are, right? Like, that's so ridiculous. All right, that doesn't work for me. All right, like, hey, man, Naruto's going to grow up really arrogant. We can't let him know that his dad is this awesome ninja. By the way, he might not have, but even if he did, he still deserves to know. The second reason, we can't tell Naruto that his dad is the fourth Hokage because other people in the village might know, and they might target Naruto. Well, Naruto already kind of has a giant bullseye on his back because he's the Nine Tails, and he's going to have to carry with that his whole life. But also, Konohamaru is the grandson of the third Hokage, and I think everybody in the village knew that. That wasn't a mystery. Like, everybody knew Konohamaru. Everybody knew that the third Hokage had kids and grandkids. That was well known. So why Naruto? Once again, to me, unless it's explained somewhere else, it feels like a big retcon. But that's me. Why did the citizens all hate him if they knew the fox fed on hate? I get it. The fox slaughtered a lot of people in the village. A lot of people died. But you're expressly kind of known that, like, the Nine Tails feeds on hatred, right? And disdain. And it soaks that up like a sponge. And it's a manifestation of that hatred. So the fox is now sealed inside of Naruto. And the village kind of, like, collectively, except for a few people like Iruka and Teuchi, all decide to, like, levy their hatred towards Naruto. Like, we're gonna constantly shit on him. And it's like, you'd think it would be the exact opposite. You ever see that episode of The Twilight Zone with the little kid? It's called It's the Good Life, where it's this kid that has, like, psionic powers that can, like, teleport people away to this empty void. And everybody in the town is kind of, like, cut off from the rest of the world, and they have to pretend that, like, that's a good thing you did there, Jimmy. That's a good thing. Everybody loves everything that you do, Jimmy. Oh, my goodness, you're the best, right? You'd think it would be kind of like that in the Hidden Leaf Village. You think everybody would be like, hi, Naruto. How are you doing today? Oh, I hope you're having a fantastic day, Naruto. Hey, Naruto. Oh, man, that's an awesome jumpsuit. Hey, you going to get some ramen? Hey, here's some money. Get a bowl on me. Oh, hey, Naruto, you're fantastic. You're going to be a great ninja someday. I know you are. Because they literally know that this guy has a fucking demon inside of him that feeds on hatred. And if you keep throwing insults at him, that just increases the chances that the demon fox is going to wake up one day and kill everybody. Yeah, Minato's seal is keeping it at bay, but you don't want to poke the bear. You know what I mean? Let's say you have a bear, like a pissed off grizzly bear inside of a cage, and the cage is like reinforced steel, and it's like the person keeping the bear is like, oh yeah, this bear, there's no way this bear could break out of this cage. You're good. It's like, okay, here's a poking stick. here's a sharp stick to poke it through the holes. Don't worry, it can't break out of there. And every time you poke the bear, it like rattling the cage and shit. And it's like, yeah, see, he'll never break out. Like, is that a smart idea? Is that a smart thing to do? Even if you're sure that bear cannot break out of that cage, is that a good thing to be doing? I don't think so. I think so. I think it's kind of a stupid thing to do that might result in your death. So that's a little question I had there. Why didn't Jiraiya tell him? I mean, Jiraiya, okay. We all love Jiraiya, right? Like, Jiraiya is a cool character. I love Jiraiya. He was Naruto's godfather, and he was not Naruto's godfather. No, okay. Jiraiya was the sensei to Minato. Like, Jiraiya literally, trained Minato to be a splendid ninja. He taught Minato the Rasengan, for fuck's sake, right? So, like, Jiraiya cared for Minato like his son. And so then Minato and Kushina get married. Kushina gets pregnant with Naruto. And there's a nice little moment. There's a scene I remember where they're talking, but like Jiraiya basically named Naruto because Minato named him after a character in one of Jiraiya's novels. So there's this nice little moment where Minato and Kushina and Jiraiya are having like lunch. And Minato's like, I've decided to name my child after a character from one of your books, Jiraiya-sensei. And Jiraiya's like, oh my god, really? You're doing that? My goodness, thank you. And then they also say, we want you to be Naruto's godfather in case something happens to us. And Jiraiya accepts. Okay, and then they both die, and Jiraiya is nowhere to be found. So, like, I get it. Jiraiya can be a bit of a scamp, He's out there writing novels or whatever. But, like, this is kind of scummy to do, right? Like, even by Jiraiya standards, this is kind of a piece of shit thing to do, right? Your student, the person that you went on missions with and, you raised to be a ninja, and then they have a kid, and then they named him after one of your characters, and then they make you their Naruto's godparent, and then, Jiraiya had to have heard at some point, oh yeah, Minato and Kushina died in this attack on the village, and their son is an orphan now. And Jiraiya literally had to make the decision of like, well, I know I said I'd be his godfather, but I mean, I got women's bathhouses to look at. Come on now, Jiraiya, that's kind of a piece of shit move. So that doesn't sit right with me right there. And then even when Jiraiya does show up, when Naruto's like a teenager at this point, and like, all right, now I'll kind of be your parent, I guess, sort of. Like, 2 years training with Jiraiya, over 2 years, actually. It's like 2.5 years time skip in Naruto. Jiraiya never sits him down. They're far from the village at this point. Like, they're not, you know what I mean? Like, they're not in the boundaries of the village where, like, the Anbu are keeping track of Naruto or anything like that. Like, they're far from the village. Jiraiya could have sat him down at one point and been like, all right, Naruto, it's time that you learned who your parents are. Your dad is Minato. He was a student of mine, yada, yada. Naruto does not find out who his dad is until he goes into that world, the little chakra realm after, fighting pain. And Minato is like, hey, I'm your dad. And Naruto starts crying and he's like, what? It's like, that's crazy. And like, Minato's like, how old are you now? He's like, I'm 16. And it's like, he never knew. So thematically, I get it. Kishimoto wanted the moment with like, he wanted Naruto to meet his dad and his mom in the chakra realms, and then they could have the moment where Naruto learns about his parents. But the trade-off for that is like everybody else has to be incompetent or very insensitive at the very least. You know what I mean? And it's just, especially people that we're supposed to like Jiraiya, supposed to be a really nice character. He was supposed to be a likable character, right? And he's just not, whatever. I've said this before, and I don't have any more questions really, but I've said this before, and I think the smartest thing to do would have been to take 2 members of the Anbu, right, and basically set them on a mission where they are going to be Naruto's adoptive parents. And they're good parents, too. It's not like they treat him, like, badly or anything. It's just like, hey, you 2 members of the Anbu, you're going to be Naruto's parents. You're going to raise him. You're going to treat him like a normal kid. But you're also going to keep tabs on him to make sure that he doesn't, like, blow a gasket someday, or if the Minato seal weakens or something, you're going to let me know. You know what I mean? And so then Naruto would have had two adoptive parents his entire life, and that actually could have been a cool way to start off the series. Like, Naruto has two parents, and then at the end you find out that, like, we're not really your parents, Naruto. It's like, what? Is like, you were adopted. What? Your real father's the fourth Hokage. What? You have the Nine Tails in you, which you probably should have already known, but whatever. What? You know, that would have made way more sense. But, you know, that's not what we got. So anyway, that was the video. Like, significantly less ranting and like angry and stuff that I originally intended it to be. So let me know down below if there's any answers to any of those questions. I feel like there probably is a few on exactly why this is what it is. I feel like a lot of the answers, though, are going to come back to, well, the village, they were forbidden from talking about it. Well, the third Hokage put a gag order in place, or they had the Anbu enforce this. It's like, even in those conditions, in a village of, like, several, like, there's a lot of people that live in Konoha, right? Like, it's over 100,000 people or some shit. Like, there was a huge city when Pain pancaked it, you know what I mean? It's a huge city. All those people in that city, not a single person has loose lips in all of that. I don't buy that. That's fucking ridiculous. You know, there's no way, right? I understand it's a ninja city, but even then, like, somebody's going to say something at some point, even if it's against the law, you know what I mean? Anyway, let me know on, like, extra stuff, expanded universe, maybe Boruto that explains it. I don't know. But there are some questions I have. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking, signing out. See you next year for my random Naruto video about a topic that I do not know yet. But we'll get there. Good night.